Okay, Ed, so talk us through the scenarios here. What probability do you give to a no-deal scenario later today? And is there a chance, perhaps a long shot, that the UAE might walk here?
I would assign that that's probably a lower probability based on what we're looking at the market right now, but it's not completely out of the woods. I think nobody would have been prepared for the kind of price war action that we saw in March and April 2020, and the market had to endure that with some very painful periods, both for prices for exporters here in the region and globally around the world. So it's not our highest probability, but it is not out of the woods entirely. I think probably what could be the agreement that we get is that we effectively have the production levels that are going to be hit at the end of July rolled over. So again, that's not going to satisfy anybody in terms of getting higher output levels to the end of the year, but at least it keeps the integrity of OPEC Plus together.
Indeed. Either way, failure to reach a deal is going to squeeze an already tight market. We have prices at around $75 a barrel for the first time in 2 years. How do you see prices moving from here in either scenario?
Well, if we have this agreement to not raise production, then I think the upside potential is quite high. So the market is going to be even that much more undersupplied. I think the 400,000 barrel per month increase that had been talked about at the end of last week was already on the shallower end of more conservative estimates going into the meeting. So the market will continue to be undersupplied if that is the deal that gets achieved today. And so that would set us up for prices to be able to move potentially higher with touching Brent at $80 a barrel or higher, an easy possibility in that scenario. If we have a breakdown, though, of the OPEC Plus agreement, we should see the UAE walk away and choose to increase production or others follow suit, then the risk is that the prices could come off quite considerably. The market structure will reverse entirely from the steep backwardation, and we see an all-out price war.
All right, so this isn't the end of OPEC. Or so we think. But one of the questions I asked the minister was essentially like, you can't push something like this unless you've got leverage. What's the leverage, do you think, that the UAE has to make sure that they aren't in a worse off position than they feel themselves to be today?
Well, I think they have the position where, with or without OPEC, they can increase production. Many other countries within the OPEC Plus agreement have a relatively limited ability to increase their production based on the capacity that they have. There's only probably about 5 or 6 countries that can increase production in a meaningful way, and the UAE was maybe one of them that has potentially about 650 to 700,000 barrels a day of idle capacity. So that's a huge amount of oil that they could put back onto the market as sort of a threat to the rest of OPEC producers. It's probably not enough to push the oil market back into surplus on its own just from the UAE, but it would certainly push us back to closer to balance and bring prices off of their current levels.
Ed, we're going to have to leave it there. Great stuff as always. Ed Bell from Emirates NBD. Maddie?